Please sit.
Item number 16.2, private members' business. Item number 17, other business.
I will now invite each member to speak for 5 minutes. I will now call the member for the 1st District, Honorable Andrew Foy.
Testing. Testing. All right, my 5 minutes begin now. Thank you, Madam Speaker. First of all, I want to congratulate Madam Speaker on her election. I wish you all the best in this honorable house. In this honorable house, I must thank God, through the great God of the universe, through His Son Jesus Christ, for allowing me to be here today. Because it's through Him that I've been able to get through the people of the 1st District a 4th consecutive term. And I do not take it lightly. I remember the last time when the house was sitting in the first House of Assembly, I came into the honorable house on crutches, with my foot in a cast after being shot. So I know about the goodness and the glory of God, that He allowed me to come here today to walk in. And by walking in with crutches, it was a new time for me in my life, because it helped me to understand that in life, in order to change anything, you have to take it one step at a time. And piece by piece, the bird builds his nest. So I give all the glory to God for being the only true and living judge and being good to my family, myself. I thank the people of the 1st District, because without them, there will be no me. And I thank you for all those who voted for me and those who didn't, because those who didn't symbolize that I still have a lot of work to do to improve the 1st District and the territory. So God's blessing to each of you for giving me the same number of votes this time as last time. I do not take your confidence in me lightly, and I'll continue to be steadfast and purpose and diligent in actions. I'm fortunate to be one of the over 40 persons contested for this year's election, and I'm fortunate to be one of the 13. So I have nothing to hang my head about, because we are here to do the people's business. I want to thank the people of the 1st District, because over the past years they have taught me a few things, and I cherish it over the last 12 years. And they allow me to be the youngest person in here for the past 12 years, but Mr. Marlon Penn now has taken that up, so I'm second to him. So congratulations to that. But I want to say that they taught me to never allow anyone's opinion of me to become my reality. They taught me to always strive to do good and do good by others, and never wish for anyone's destruction, because when destruction is your motivation, then your motivation becomes your destruction. Never chase success, but chase and fulfill purpose, because true success is fulfilling your God-given purpose for existing. So I thank you, Madam Speaker, for these lessons the people of the 1st District have taught me that allow me to be here. I want to thank my family, my dear mother, my wife, my 2 children, my sisters, and all my family, and the family of the 1st District for sticking with me, and the people in the territory for their all prayers. I am not at all phased, because being one of the 13 members in this house, I have an awesome responsibility. And being a member of Her Majesty's Loyal Opposition, I will carry out my duties by being steadfast in purpose and diligent in actions. And whatever happens, I know for sure that I'll give it my best. to make sure that generations unborn will be proud of the efforts that I, Andrew A. was able to give while a part of this house. Because I also know that life is about enjoying the moments that go well and also managing the moments that don't. I want to wish all my colleagues in here all the best from on the opposition, the government, the Premier. We will continue to be the eyes and ears of the people. I want to say that I am firmly behind building this territory. It has been my trademark for the 12 years, and this fourth term will be no different, because we cannot afford to let down the future generation. The eyes of the future are looking back at us, hoping that the 13 of us get it right. And I implore each of us not to disappoint the future. Again, I want to thank everyone and blessings, and may we continue to walk together in unity and continue to move forward. There will be good times in here and bad. The first punch was already thrown, but we will continue to be steadfast in purpose and diligent in actions. Thank you to the people of the 1st District. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Congratulations to my colleagues.
I now call the representative of the 2nd District, Honorable J. Alvin Christopher.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. First, I want to give God thanks for the privilege and the opportunity to serve in this honorable house. I also, Madam Speaker, I want to congratulate you as being elected Speaker of this House. In your presentation, you made it clear that you would do everything possible to exercise fairness and honesty across to all members in expressing their views as we endeavor to serve in this honorable house, to serve the people of this territory. I also want to take this opportunity to congratulate the government, the Honorable Premier and his cabinet and all his members for a successful showing at the poll. The wishes of the people is always paramount and one to be upheld in high honor. But I also want to take this opportunity to also, Madam Speaker, to thank all the persons who supported me throughout this campaign, and especially those of the 2nd Electoral District. I also want to thank my hard-working campaign committee, a committee that I have cherished and boasted about for the past 18 years. You see, Madam Chair, they set the foundation for my constant return to this House. We were organized some 18 years ago, and I can stand here today on the shoulders of them and boast that for 18 years we have met at least once a month consistently throughout that term, and I challenge any member of this House to make that boast. Because you see, Madam Chair, the whole idea about representation is about people. And when you have the support of the people, and they know that you stand sincerely behind them, Madam Speaker, and what is right for this territory, they reward you by giving you the opportunity to represent them and to speak on their behalf. So on their shoulder, Madam Speaker, I stand here today and say thanks to them and the entire people of the 2nd Electoral District. I also, Madam Speaker, want to give special thanks to my family. But without them, in the long nights, when you need a shoulder, Madam Speaker, to lean on, and the quietness of the night, they are the one you got to turn to. So I think it's appropriate at this point in time to say thanks, Madam Speaker, to them for their support throughout the entire, how much years now, Doc? 16 years, going into 20. since I was given the opportunity to represent the people in the second. I looked around in the House, Madam Speaker, today, and with the absence of the leader of opposition, I quickly realized that I am the senior member of this House, and I think that should add up for something. You don't think so about a skeleton? And it is good to see so much of my friends returning, and those who were able to stand the test of time still here. Like my good friend Dr. Pickwick and my Premier and my good friends to my left. Mr. Speaker, it's a joy and a privilege for me to serve in this honorable House. The whole idea about representation is about people. And when it comes to democracy, I believe, Mr. Speaker, that one should always express himself freely and frankly, and your views pertaining on what you think is in the best interest of the people is one that you should not compromise, Mr. Speaker. And for 16 years, I haven't done that. I don't intend to do it now. And as we go forward, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, I want to assure everyone under the sound of my voice in this House that J. Alvin Christopher will stand up for what is right, what is honest and just on behalf of every person within this territory. So once again, Madam Speaker, I want to congratulate all my colleagues, both on this government side and on what we refer to as the side of our loyal, our Majesty loyal opposition. We would work with the government on all issues. We will oppose when it is necessary, and when it is right and fit and proper on behalf of the people, you can count on my support. As I said, I got just as much friend on that side because I sit on both sides. My friends are on all sides. All sides my friends are on. So I come to this House today, Madam Speaker, with an open mind and with a vision, Madam Speaker, to make sure that the rights and privileges of the people of this country continue to be maintained and protected. I have no other goal but to make sure that these islands progress on behalf of everyone, be the islander or those who come to live among us. So once again, I want to give God thanks for his continual blessing. I want to thank him for sustaining me through all the difficult times in this House. And I pledge to you, the people of this territory, to do my best to uphold the laws and to protect the rights and privileges of you, the people of this island. I thank you very much.
I now invite the representative for the 3rd District, Honorable Julian Fraser Ari.
Madam Speaker, I am sure that given the smallness of the opposition and the fact that the leader of the opposition isn't here this morning, you wouldn't mind, neither the members of the gallery wouldn't mind me getting his 5 minutes to add with mine. And you heard that. You heard that. Madam Speaker, I first like to give God thanks for having me here this morning, for returning me to the 2nd House of Assembly. And second, Madam Speaker, to my constituents of the 3rd Electoral District for seeing fit to return me to the 2nd House of Assembly. Madam Speaker, I'd also like to thank my family for the support that they have given me during these last 12 years that I've been a member of this House of Assembly and Legislative Council, and for the support that they've given me during the time leading up to this campaign, the election and being elected. I'd like to also give thanks, Madam Speaker, to my committee, a hard-working bunch who never lost faith in me and always saw the wisdom in supporting me and having me here to represent the people of the 3rd District. Madam Speaker, the 3rd District, which I represent, during the last House of Assembly, had 4 members of the House of Assembly as residents. For a moment, Madam Speaker, I was the only one standing of that 4. I am happy to note this morning, Madam Speaker, that another member has joined this House of Assembly. So now there are 2 of us. That other member happens to be you, Madam Speaker. And I want to congratulate you on being elected as the Speaker of the House of Assembly. I'm looking forward to a long and pleasant relationship with you over the next 4 years as Speaker of this House. I have no reason to doubt that you're going to be fair, sometimes maybe tilting towards me on the side of fairness. You would know that numbers are against us, so we'll take any little favor we can get now and then, Madam Speaker. My colleagues on the other side know that all is fair in war. Madam Speaker, I'd like to congratulate the government under the leadership of Premier Dr. the Honorable Smith and the members of his cabinet. I see he got 3 members from, so all 4 members from the class of 1999. I welcome back those 2 who had taken a little break for the last 4 years. They're back too. And the new member in the cabinet. Madam Speaker, this House of Assembly things happen so fast. I happen to know Honorable Christian for a long time. Honorable Penn, I haven't been, it's not someone that I've known except for the days leading up towards the election. He always make it a point if I'm in the same company to say hello to me. And Honorable Christopher is someone I've been known for the last 2 Houses of Assembly. And Maduro Keynes, welcome to the House of Assembly. Madam Speaker, ours as an opposition is to understand the nature of running a country and the responsibility of a government to run the country. We intend to be as cooperative as need be. We understand that given the current economic times, there will be difficulties. The government needs time to put its programs in place, formulate its policies, and we can assure the government that we will be working with them as diligently and as closely as possible. Madam Speaker, the holidays are upon us, and given what took place over the last few months ending on November 7th, there has been some blood spilled, not too good. But we are hoping that given the spirit that we're in right now, the healing can begin. And we understand that there's one country and we are one people. No matter who is at the helm as far as the government is concerned, it is all our collective responsibilities to make sure that the territory continues to grow and the people prosper. With that, Madam Speaker, I'd like to end by saying that I will continue to support the people who sent me here from the 3rd District, and by extension, the entire territory, the people of the entire territory, and that we are here to work together as government and opposition alike. Thank you.
I now invite the Minister for Communications and Work and the representative for the 4th District, Honorable Mark Vanterpool.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to first say congratulations to you and your new appointment, and look forward to working closely with you over the next 4 years in this Honorable House of Assembly. We believe and are confident that you will serve well, and we know that as a young professional, we have high expectations and strongly believe we won't be disappointed. Madam Speaker, permit me to say thank you to Almighty God for his guidance, strength, and great hope that he instilled in us, and for his most important part in the decision making, for having all of us here, and in particular for favoring me through the good support of my people of the 4th District to come back to the House of Assembly to represent them over the next 4 years. Madam Speaker, I strongly believe that there is great hope for this country, our beautiful country, the Virgin Islands. And therefore, I want to instill that hope in our people and let them know that despite the fact that we have a great challenge ahead of us, we must put our heads to the plow, ensure that our hands are ready and willing to work. And at the end of it all, Madam Speaker, I strongly believe that we would have had great results. Madam Speaker, I'm sure you'll permit me to just refer to a few notes as I go along. I don't know why, Madam Speaker, some of our people are on the border of living below the poverty line, on the border or living below the poverty line. I don't know why, Madam Speaker, unfortunate incidents like crime continue to permeate our peaceful communities. Madam Speaker, I don't know why our elderly, for example, sometimes suffer as much as some may do in the latter years. I don't know, Madam Speaker, why some of our young men and women have difficulty finding their place in our society. But Madam Speaker, I do know that as an elected member of this House of Assembly, that we have a responsibility in this House as we legislate to ensure that we legislate in the best interests of all of the people of the Virgin Islands, but especially, Madam Speaker, to make life better for all of the people of the Virgin Islands. Life should not be comfortable, Madam Speaker, for some and uncomfortable for others. It is our responsibility to do everything possible to level the playing field. But Madam Speaker, when we speak of leveling the playing field, we do not mean that we should be bringing others down to help to get others up. But rather, we should be working very hard as a House of Assembly to bring those who are have found themselves in unfortunate situations and who have difficulty, and those who may not be able, through their own volition, to help them to see a better way forward, to enjoy a better life, to be able to go to sea, Madam Speaker, and fish better for themselves. It is our responsibility here as members of the House to ensure that this happens. Madam Speaker, the Honorable Premier has had the confidence to appoint me as a minister of his cabinet with the responsibility for communications and works. Madam Speaker, hopefully by the end of these 4 years, our roads and bridges will never be the same. They will be better for all of our people. We will have a final solution to our long-standing sewage woes, a solution to the huge electricity bills, Madam Speaker, that we're experiencing, where this thing called a surcharge story, hopefully at the end of our term or long before that, will no longer exist. Madam Speaker, I want to thank the wonderful staff in my ministry, led by a very able acting permanent secretary, Arlene Smith, and all those around us who have begun already in the short time we are there to put our heads to the plow to ensure that we address the urgent needs of this community. I want to say, Madam Speaker, I'll be happy to work very closely with the rest of my colleagues here in this honorable House to ensure that the people's business is well taken care of over these next 4 years. Thank you, Madam Speaker, for allowing me these few moments, and thanks to the wonderful people of the 4th District and all of the people of the Virgin Islands who have played a major role in electing us to the 2nd House of Assembly. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I now invite the Deputy Speaker and the representative for the 5th District, Honorable Dolores Christopher.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise this morning deeply humbled and truly grateful. First to God for bringing me to this 2nd House of Assembly. Madam Speaker, I congratulate you on your appointment as Speaker of this 2nd House of Assembly and the 2nd woman to be appointed to this post in the history of the Virgin Islands. This attests to the fact, Madam Speaker, that women are progressing and playing a pivotal role in shaping and molding the future of our territory. I would like to express sincere thanks and appreciation to all the residents of the 5th District, from Long Trench to Johnson's Gut, and all the areas in between, Madam Speaker, Horsepath and everywhere. I say thanks for your support, your prayers, your encouragement, and good wishes. I offer special thanks, Madam Speaker, to the members of my extremely hard-working committee and those who work behind the scenes, those who strategize and plan the way forward throughout the campaign. I want to thank my family for their support and for being there for me always. Madam Speaker, I humbly accept the appointment of Deputy Speaker to this honorable House. I acknowledge the important work ahead as we debate on the floor and in committee, as we share ideas make laws and decisions. I recognize that we are charting the course and direction of our beloved country. The way in which we carry out this responsibility, Madam Speaker, will have a lasting effect on future generations. I know that my colleagues, and I am sure they know as well, that there are many challenges before us in these changing times. But we stand together, committed to the advancement of our country and the provision of a better quality of life for all our people. Before I take my seat, Madam Speaker, I would like to extend season's greetings to all who have come to share these moments with us. To our friends from the USVI and our families from across the waters, and those listening in and viewing on channels 51 and 55. May the true spirit of the holidays linger with you, and may your every wish come true. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
I now invite the representative for the 6th District, Honorable Alvara Maduru Keynes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I congratulate you highly on your appointment of Speaker of this Honorable House. First, I'd like to thank God Almighty for His blessings, seeing me through this election. I'd also like to thank the voters of the 6th Electoral District, my family, my hard-working committee, for electing me for such a time as this. When I entered this race, there were some who encouraged me and there were some who discouraged me. But in the end, God prevailed, and my story became a reincarnation of David and Goliath. For this, I really want to thank the people of the entire British Virgin Islands. I had support not only in the 6th District, but from the entire territory. During my campaign, I campaigned strongly on the youths and helping them to become more self-sufficient and to help empower them into owning business or becoming better. This is my pledge, and I will continue to campaign. I will continue to work to help to make these youths better people. Madam Speaker, I realize the task ahead is one of many difficulties. I have already started the work in my district along with the help of my teammates, and I will continue to do this. Madam Speaker, I look forward to working with you and my colleagues in helping to turn this little nation back or turn it into the envy of the Caribbean or the whole world. Madam Speaker, I thank you for this opportunity to talk to these people. God bless you, and God bless these beautiful British Virgin Islands. Thank you.
I now invite the Deputy Premier and the Minister for Natural Resources and Labor and the representative for the 7th District, Dr. the Honorable Kedrick Pickering.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as I rise, let me take this opportunity to congratulate you on this appointment. and your willingness and commitment to serve your country and to do the best to make it the place that it is destined to be. Madam Speaker, I also want to take this opportunity to congratulate all of my colleagues who have been elected to the second House of Assembly. All of my colleagues on the opposition, Madam Speaker, are all my friends. We've been here, all of them have been here since I've been here. And I congratulate them, and I look forward to the work ahead. Madam Speaker, I also want to take this opportunity to congratulate all the new members of this House of Assembly. And as I congratulate them, Madam Speaker, to also say to them that 4 years is a very short time to make your impact. 4 years ago, we had a different set of members, and I would caution my newly elected colleagues not to take anything for granted. Madam Speaker, I also would like to take this opportunity, with your permission, to acknowledge the presence of all our colleagues from the United States Virgin Islands. But I especially want to acknowledge the presence of the governor and to say to him, Madam Speaker, that we discuss having a national prayer breakfast between both our countries, and to tell you publicly that I intend to make it a reality with your help, Governor. Madam Speaker, I also want to acknowledge the absence of the Leader of the Opposition. My friend, the elder statesman of this House, who is at home recovering. And if he's listening, to say to him, Godspeed. Look forward to him being back shortly. Madam Speaker, part of this process is to say thanks. And to say thanks to those who have worked diligently to help us get elected. I am somewhat anxious and in some ways scared about the future because of my own personal election victory, because of the overwhelming support that I have gotten, because it tells me that there is a very narrow margin for error. And so I want to say thanks to all the people of the 7th electoral district for putting confidence in me and sending me back here to try to do the best to serve them and to serve this country that I love so much. But Madam Speaker, I want to take this opportunity to say a special thanks to my family, because my commitment to my country, Madam Speaker, puts great strain on our family. And those of us who have young children understand and appreciate the difficulties that one can encounter when you try to serve your country, and your family bears the brunt of that pressure. And during election campaigns, a lot of us go through some difficult times, and our families are oftentimes left out in the cold. And I want to take this opportunity publicly to thank my wife for her continued support, especially in rearing our children. Madam Speaker, it's a difficult time that we find ourselves in our little country. But I sincerely believe that we have the will and we have the desire to do the things to make our country what it ought to be and what I know it will be, a great, great little nation. We have some difficult times ahead, Madam Speaker, but we must do our best. And I want to say to all those who are listening, the election is over. It is time now for us to work as a people to build our country. I continue to believe that I am not doing well if my brother is not doing well. It is important, it is imperative that we put aside this VIP, NDP, whatever P now, and start putting our heads together to do our best to build our country, because if all of us are going to do well, it is important that each of us work hard to make that happen. Madam Speaker, I want to take this opportunity once again to congratulate you, to congratulate all of my colleagues here in the House, and again to say thanks to all the people of this territory who conducted themselves with such distinction during the election campaign. I think we left the observers with their mouths open that we as a people can conduct an election the way we did, and I think all of us deserve a collective congratulations. Madam Speaker, I look forward to working with my colleagues, with you, over the next 4 years as we strive to build this great little nation. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
I now invite the representative for the 8th District, Honorable Marlon Penn.
Testing. Good afternoon, Madam Speaker. I thank you for the opportunity to say a few words in this honorable House. Firstly, I want to thank God for bringing us all safely to this point today. Madam Speaker, I want to congratulate you on your appointment to the important role of Speaker of this honorable House. Your selection as Speaker is yet again a signal of confidence in the youth of this territory. If I'm not mistaken, your appointment represents the youngest person to ever held the Speaker role. Having worked with you professionally, I have every confidence that you will vindicate the trust and confidence bestowed upon you by this honorable House. Madam Speaker, I stand before this honorable House humbled by the privilege bestowed upon me by the people of District 8. The privilege of being their representative in the second House of Assembly. I stand here this morning, the proud representative of a district that lays claim to some of the greatest leaders that have ever represented this BVI. Leaders like my late uncle, the late Leslie Malone, the late Willard Wheatley, and Louis Walters. All leaders whose efforts have shaped our current BVI and have left a clear path for myself and aspiring leaders to follow. Today, I pay respect to these great leaders for the service they have rendered to the people of District 8 and the entire Virgin Islands. As I embarked on this partnership with the people of District 8, I will use the path created by these great leaders as my guide as I create new paths and opportunities for the people of District 8 and this entire territory. The privilege of holding elected office comes with great responsibility. The hopes, aspirations, and dreams of a people, and in fact, a nation, rest on our shoulders. As elected officials, we must always be mindful that the decisions we make have far-reaching implications, not just for current generations, but for generations yet unborn. Hence, these decisions should never be made in a vacuum. I understand the importance of my new responsibilities, and I take them very seriously. I pledge to you, the people of the BVI, that with all my energy and all my ability, I will work to enhance the standard of living for every Virgin Islander and strive to maintain our natural environment and rich culture that makes the BVI unique. It is our intent in District 8 to accomplish our objectives, not through the usual top-down autocratic approach, but through a more inclusive and collective approach. We will do this through some of the following ideas. Through the formation of a district council. As early as January 2012, a non-partisan district council will be created in District 8. The district council will be a working community whose responsibilities will include, but not limited to, advising the representative of matters affecting the district, help with the research and development of solutions to the many problems we face as a district. This will all be done in conjunction with the people in the community. We will hold quarterly district meetings. As promised on the campaign trail, we will hold quarterly district meetings which will be used to provide updates on district initiatives, get community input and feedback, and discuss government's plans for 8th District and the entire territory. We will form public-private partnerships. We all know that government cannot solve all the issues our communities and territory faces. We need the assistance of everyone in our territory if we are to have strong, sustainable communities. As a government, we understand this, and it is our aim to form partnership with business community and non-governmental organizations, with that aim to building stronger, sustainable communities. Before I take my seat, Madam Speaker, it would be remiss of me if I did not take this opportunity to thank and recognize my family, friends, and supporters that have supported me throughout this process. I first want to thank Joy and Jamar for the support you have given me through this process and you continue to give me as I take on these new responsibilities. I want to especially thank my biggest fan in the world, my 5-year-old son, Jamar Penn. During the campaign, Jamar would tell everyone and everyone that would listen that his father is going to be the next representative of the 8th District. He even wanted to know how he could vote for his daddy at 5 years old. Jamar also gave me the best motivational speech I got throughout the campaign. It was a Thursday afternoon, just about 2 weeks before election, as I normally pick up Jamar from school. Jamar must have seen the stress on my face from the campaign. He tapped me on my shoulders and he said, "Daddy, you worried about winning?" He said, "Daddy, don't worry, just do your best and everything will be all right." Suffice it to say, I did my best and I'm here today. I just want to thank Jamar for his unwavering support for his daddy. I also want to recognize my parents, my mother, Magda Ford, my father, Ephraim Penn, and my step-parents, Hewlett Ford, and my late stepmother, Marva Penn. Thank you for all the support and guidance. I am forever grateful. To all my other family members and friends, I also want to thank you for trusting and believing in me. Your support has been invaluable. I want to take this opportunity to recognize the cornerstone of the Penn family. My grandfather, Obel, with 16 Penn. I call him the Oracle of East End and the sharpest mind I know. He is my personal Rolodex of wisdom, my mentor, and most of all, my friend. Thank you, Pa, for your support and encouragement. To my campaign committee, thank you for believing in my vision and working tirelessly to ensure that that vision was clearly communicated. To the residents and voters of our district, the work has just begun. Now it's time for us to execute our vision and make the 8th District the envy of the BVI. And lastly, but certainly by no means least, I want to say a heartfelt thank you to the residents and voters of District 8. Thank you for your vote of confidence and for believing in me. The challenge we face as a district and as a territory are daunting, but are not insurmountable. As a nation, we have faced many challenges. We have always overcome them. We must put our political differences aside and work together for the greater good of our territory. I therefore pledge my unflinching commitment to work with honorable members on both sides of the House to ensure continued advancement and prosperity of the BVI and its people. Because now, more than ever, we need all hands on deck to restore our territory to the great nation it is destined to be. I thank you for the time.
I now invite the Premier and Minister of Finance and Territorial at-Large Representative, Dr. the Honorable D. Orlando Smith. Minor correction, I apologize. I will now invite the Minister for Communication. I will now invite the Minister for Health and Social Development and Territorial at-Large Representative, I do apologize. I will now invite Territorial at-Large Representative Honorable Archibald Christian.
Good afternoon, Madam Speaker. I'd like to first give Almighty God thanks for allowing me to be here today on this very special occasion. Madam Speaker, I'd like to congratulate you to your elevation to the post of Speaker of the House of Assembly. And I pledge that I will abide by all of the rules that have been laid out by the House to ensure that we foster a good relationship. Madam Speaker, I'd like to take this opportunity to publicly thank the members of my family. In fact, Madam Speaker, today is a bittersweet day for me. One of my strongest supporters, my father, the late Clarence M. Christian, is not here. But thanks to the rest of my family, my mother, my sisters, and my dear wife, they are here to witness this very special occasion. Madam Speaker, my campaign started in 2003 when I first contested a seat in the 1st district as a district candidate. And over the years, persons across the territory of the Virgin Islands from Antigua to US Van Dyke had always encouraged me to run at large. On November 7th, 2011, 4,211 persons saw it fit to elect me to represent them and the people of the Virgin Islands. And for them and to them, I am extremely grateful. I pledge to work, Madam Speaker, with all the other elected members of this House. Many of them I know personally. And I pledge, Madam Speaker, that as we work together to ensure that this territory moves forward in a much better condition than we have taken it over in, that we will do it in peace and harmony. I will be representing the people of the Virgin Islands and not the NDP, the VIP, or NEP. I pledge to work on behalf of all the people of these islands. Madam Speaker, I was particularly impressed when I looked at the numbers of persons who voted across the territory. And I just want to say a very special thanks to the voters in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th districts, who gave me over 400 votes to ensure that I be here today. It means, Madam Speaker, that I have a lot of work to do in the 1st and the 2nd district, and I pledge that I will do that. Madam Speaker, during the campaign, my theme was politicians should always tell the truth. As a matter of fact, Madam Speaker, it became a word where we flooded it around. Was it the truth or the truth? Nevertheless, Madam Speaker, I pledge that I will always, in this honorable House, tell the truth when it comes to the people's business. And I will fight to ensure that all of our elected officials convey the truth to the people of the Virgin Islands. In closing, Madam Speaker, I'd like to offer seasoned greetings to the people of the Virgin Islands. And I want to encourage those of you who know already that we have embarked on a campaign to clean up the entire Virgin Islands from Antigua to Just Van Dyke, to please join this government as volunteers to ensure that we clean up nature's little secrets, not for the tourists, but for each and every one of us who reside in these islands. This is our home. I want to again thank Madam Speaker, my dear wife, who has tolerated this journey that I have been on since 2003, for her patience, for her love, and for her understanding. And I trust and pray that she will continue to support me in this endeavor. Madam Speaker, I thank you very much.
I now invite the Minister for Education and Culture and Territorial at-Large Representative, Honorable Myron Walwyn.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I have to congratulate you as well on your ascension to Speaker of the House of Assembly. I have worked with you very closely. I know your abilities very well, and I know you will do a very fine job here in the House of Assembly. As a matter of fact, I'm confident that the standard of this House will be raised extremely high and will be second to none anywhere in the Commonwealth under your leadership. So I want to congratulate you, Madam Speaker, again on your ascension to Speaker of the House. I want to also congratulate my colleagues in the House on their successful bid to be here today. It was quite an interesting election, but the people have spoken and we have to respect that. I too would like to acknowledge the absence of the former Premier, Honorable Ralph T. O'Neill, a man who, perhaps of all the persons alive today in the BVI, have contributed the most to the development of this country. And I want to say to him, if he's listening, I'm sure that he is, that I wish him a speedy recovery, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in the House of Assembly. I want to thank God, Madam Speaker, for bringing me here today, because without the Almighty God, nothing at all in life is possible. And I don't believe that the Almighty God make mistakes. All of us who are here today, we are here today for a purpose. And I intend, along with my colleagues, I'm sure, to live out my purpose in the second House of Assembly. I want to also thank, Madam Speaker, the residents and voters of the entire Virgin Islands community. I stand today humble because being here in this House of Assembly is a testament of their trust in me and their confidence in my ability to make this country, along with my colleagues, a better place for all of us to live in. And I want to say to the members of the community that the work and support doesn't end here. You have brought us this far, you have brought us across, as one of my friends would say, across the River Jordan. And now we want you to hold our hands to make sure that we work well to develop this country for the benefit of all. Madam Speaker, I want to also thank my family, my immediate family, my wife and children, and I have to thank my extended family as well. Unlike Honorable Penn, who had motivation from his son, I was told that I better not embarrass them by losing this election. So I worked hard, and I'm pleased to report that they won't be ashamed when they go to school. I would also like to thank, Madam Speaker, my committee members. I had a very hard-working, supportive, energetic, innovative committee. And I would dare to say that I have not seen a committee perform and run a campaign the way that my committee has done in this election. And I am very grateful to them. Honorable Member, you had your chance to thank your committee. Madam Speaker, I'd also like to thank a special group of persons. It's no secret that I'm a business person in this community. And while I was away seeking elected office, I had a group of men and women headed by a very capable, young, local young lady, Nashima Smith, who ran my businesses for me. And they did an extremely good job, and I want to publicly thank them for the work that they have done. As a matter of fact, my business was more profitable with me out than when I'm there. So I want to say thank you to them. I also want to thank, Madam Speaker, the staff at the Ministry of Education and the Department of Education for helping me. I want to recognize Dr. Marcia Potter, who is here. The transition for me was quite seamless. As a matter of fact, I feel as if I've been there longer than a month because we've been able to get much accomplished. We've been able to set up ourselves so that in the new year, we can move the education system to one that we can all be proud of. I want to reaffirm, Madam Speaker, my confidence in my boss and the leader of this country, Dr. the Honorable D. Orlando Smith, because I know Dr. Smith is a person who has the well-being of this country at heart. And I think that if your heart is in the right place, it will lead you to great places. And I'm pleased to be a part of his government, and I publicly pledge my support to helping him to carry out his agenda for the people of this country. Madam Speaker, the people elected us here to work on their behalf, and the work is a lot. There's a lot to do to move our country forward. The challenges that we face, Madam Speaker, are real challenges, but with the support of the people and the support of God, we will emerge out of this period, Madam Speaker, to rejuvenate our economy, particularly in the tourism sector, and providing avenues for entrepreneurs to emerge and thrive. Madam Speaker, we will address the issue of unemployment among the youths and other persons in the territory who are not working. Madam Speaker, we will reform our education system to allow our students to be competitive globally. We'll reduce the cost of living in this country, Madam Speaker. We'll look at enforcing measures to protect and preserve the Virgin Islands environment. We'll work, Madam Speaker, to create a 21st century healthcare system to protect our borders and manage the growing crime. And Madam Speaker, something that's very important to me, we will strengthen the cultural foundation on which all residents stand to create a sense of pride in what it means to be a Virgin Islander. But Madam Speaker, we were elected in what I would call a huge victory by the people. And so, Madam Speaker, the expectations from the people, I believe, is quite high for us. But I want to ask the people, the public, to please exercise patience with us, because Rome wasn't built in a day, as somebody said this morning on Facebook. It takes time. We know what the problems are, we will work with you, but we won't get everything done all at once. And so we ask for your patience to correct and improve the standard of living in this country. I too want to echo the sentiments of the Deputy Premier that the elections are over, and now is the time for nation building. Now is the time for us to put away the NDPs and the VIPs and whatever Ps and work together to build this country. Again, I want to thank the people of the Virgin Islands for their confidence reposed in me to represent them as an at-large member of the House of Assembly, and I want to give them my full assurance, Madam Speaker, that their confidence in me is not misplaced. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I now invite the Minister for Health and Social Development and Territorial at-large Representative, Honorable Ronnie W. Skelton.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. And first, Madam Speaker, let me join my other colleagues in congratulating you to your elevation as Speaker of this House. I have no doubt in my mind, Madam Speaker, that you will do a fantastic job. Madam Speaker, I also want to extend well wishes to the leader of the opposition who is absent here today. I wish him well, and I hope he has a speedy recovery and join us here in this honorable House. Madam Speaker, I also want to congratulate and thank all of those people from Antigada to Jost Van Dijk's who saw it fit to go to the polls and cast their vote in the interests of this country. Madam Speaker, we were sent here by the people of this country to fix the ills of this country. And I am convinced, with the support of both sides of the aisle, and with Almighty God Jehovah's help, I am convinced that we can make this country a better country. I also want to thank the dignitaries among us, those from the U.S. Virgin Islands especially, who see it fit to join us here this morning, running into this afternoon. I recognize my good friend, Ronald Russell, President of the Senate, who we went to UVI, CVI back then, in those old days. Madam Speaker, I also want to thank my wife, Janice, and my extended family for supporting me and joining in my effort, knowing fully well, Madam Speaker, that I run a family business and they all seem to be dependent on me. But I believe this country is bigger than any one of us, any family, and any family business. So I take it upon myself to offer myself up for service to see if I can assist my colleagues on both sides of this House to move in this country forward in a better position that we find ourselves in today. Madam Speaker, I want to also send out condolences at this time to all those families over the last couple of weeks who have lost loved ones. And I know they are hurting. And on behalf of my family, my wife, I send condolences to those hurting families. Madam Speaker, my colleague, Myron, that last colleague, Myron, send a pledge out to the voters and the people of the Virgin Islands. We recognize that the expectations are high. Your expectation for this government to fix whatever is wrong in this country is very high. But it is high not because we can't do the necessary things to fix the ills of this country. But we have a hesitation because we believe that to fix some of these difficult things require serious resources. And we're in a situation in this world today where the world financial institution, Madam Speaker, is in serious crisis. The countries of the world are in serious crisis. And the BVI is no exception. So we plead and beg the people of the Virgin Islands to have some understanding. Bear with us. We will do what is good and right for all the people living in these Virgin Islands. Madam Speaker, we got here on the backs, or on the votes of the young people mostly, based on statistics, that is. And we would like to thank all those young people who have faith, who have faith in the National Democratic Party. Madam Speaker, my 5 minutes is up, and I would like to thank you for giving me that time.
I now invite the Premier and Minister of Finance and Territorial at-Large Representative, Dr. the Honorable D. Orlando Smith.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me some time to make a few remarks. First of all, I'd like to welcome everyone who's here to this first sitting of the second session of the House of Assembly today, and also those who are listening on radio. I realize that you all have high expectations of this government. I want to pledge to you right now that as a government, we will work hard and try our best not to let you down. Among the persons who are here today, there are several dignitaries who I'd like to recognize. First of all, their counterparts from United States Virgin Islands. I want to give a special welcome to the Governor, John DeYoung, and his beautiful wife, and also to Lieutenant Governor Richards and his lovely wife, and to Senate President Russell, and all representatives who took the time to be here. I want to say that in the past several years, recognizing the friendship and kinship between the two sets of islands, we have worked well together. And recently, for example, I know that many hundreds and thousands of our visitors have come to your facilities. And I want to thank you for that. And I'm sure that we'll be able to meet further and discuss further areas of cooperation. Because I do believe that working together, we can be better than if we were separate. We can be better as what is called the Greater Virgin Islands. Thank you for coming. Next, I'd like to welcome all the other dignitaries who are here. I'd like to welcome the justices of the High Court, the members of the clergy. I'd like to recognize the Deputy Governor, Mrs. Archibald, and Dr. Archibald. I'd also like to recognize my wife, Lorna, who's been a constant support to my campaign, our family, and also my children who are here, Catherine, my daughter Henry, my son, and Aria, our grandchild. And I'm sure that my mother and my son Christopher and the other two boys, Alejandro and Aiden, are listening on radio as we go about our business today. I'd also like to make a special mention of Justice Charles, Justice Harry Prasad Charles. She has been with us in the BVI for a few years, and she's done sterling work for the British Virgin Islands. But now she's moving on to other areas. I'd like to thank her for all she's done here with us and to congratulate her on the next step and wish her well. Next, I'd like to also pay my respects to the Speaker of this House, Madam Speaker. I want to thank you for accepting our nomination to the post of Speaker. And I also want to congratulate you for ascending to the post. I have known a little bit about you in the past several years. I know in what I do know, I know that you will do your best for this country. I know that you are a dedicated BVI lander. I would like to see this country move forward just as we do. And I pledge to you right now that my support so that we'll be able to continue to command the respect and maintain the dignity of this House. I also like to thank those, Madam Speaker, who have supported me during the last 4 terms and bringing me back to this House for 4 consecutive terms. I want to thank all those who have had that faith and trust in me and ask them to continue to have that faith and trust, and I will continue to work hard and try to fulfill the mandate that you have given me this time. And at this time, I would also like to thank God for helping me and my colleagues to be here to continue to work for the British Virgin Islands. Madam Speaker, we are at a significant period in the British Virgin Islands. And as my colleague said, there's a worldwide recession, and BVI has also suffered. In fact, for many reasons, we perhaps have suffered a little bit too much. But suffice to say, there's a huge task ahead. A huge task ahead for this and successive governments to take the British Isles back to their place of prosperity. But, Madam Speaker, I'm heartened because we still have the natural resources that made us. We still have our beautiful beaches, our lovely sailing waters, beautiful vistas. Most of all, we have a resourceful and resilient people. And I know that together we can weather the storm, and together we can turn the clock back and take this country back to a land of prosperity. As I said sometime before, Madam Speaker, coming to this House, we only see one people. We don't see VIP, we don't see NDP, we see one people. And it's basically about having the best people, the person who's best suited for any job that is there in the public service. That is important if we're going to get this country moving forward. And Madam Speaker, as we move together to build this country, the investments that we've made in the past, the investments in our financial services, the investments in our tourism industry, also the investments by our fishermen and our farmers, the investments by all our people who have made major investments because they have confidence in our destiny. Also the investments by external developers who've seen the potential and are willing to work with us to help this country move forward. Because of all this groundwork that is laid, Madam Speaker, I think that we are on good ground. They will serve us well, Madam Speaker, all those investments, as we bend our back to the task. We will continue to build, Madam Speaker, on those areas with particular emphasis on the tourist sector, which we know is one of the main engines of the economy. And I mention that particularly, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, because I think we have lost ground in that area. And it's important that we do what must be done to catch up. And this may mean working even more closely with our neighbors across the water, because I hear that they're doing some great things as well. Also, Madam Speaker, means working more closely with our business sector. And this our government, we do have plans to work very closely with the business sector, because we know that the business sector is important to the advancement of our territory. And also, Madam Speaker, we must concentrate on maintaining our environment. We must concentrate on protecting our environment, because we know that is the thing that maintains us. Further, Madam Speaker, I'd like to welcome my colleagues back to this House, those on both sides of the aisle, Madam Speaker. I can't promise, Madam Speaker, that I will rearrange the sitting in the House for the benefit of some of my colleagues. But I know that we've all worked very hard and keenly for this election, very keenly for the election. And I also know that all of us will bring that same level of enthusiasm to working with the people of this country and for the advancement of our territory. Finally, Madam Speaker, I'd like to make a special salutation to the leader of the opposition. Yesterday when I spoke with him, he insisted that he was coming, and I was a little bit doubtful about that. But when I heard that he was not here this morning, it was with deep regret that I understand he was not able to make it, because he tried very hard to be here. He has done yeoman's work for this territory, and I wish him a speedy recovery. So, Madam Speaker, I welcome all of you. Again, I give my pledge that this government will work hard for the advancement of the British Virgin Islands. And I thank you all for coming.
I thank all of the speakers for their remarks. Before we proceed, I'd like to announce that the ferry to Anegada and Virgin Gorda will leave at 3 p.m.
Item number 18, adjournment.
Madam Speaker, I move that this House be adjourned sine die.
Madam Speaker, I second the motion.
A motion has been moved that this Honorable House be adjourned sine die. Those in favor? Those against? The ayes carry. This Honorable House stands adjourned sine die.